Hi everybody, my name's Adriana, and today we're going to be making fry bread. Today's recipe is inspired by the book Fry Bread, a Native American family story. If you'd like to listen to this read aloud before you do this activity, during the activity, or even afterwards, I'm going to be posting the link to that video in the description below. You're also going to be finding the recipe that we're using today, which comes from fry bread itself. It was the recipe that the author has created. And I'll be posting the recipe in the description so you can follow along, as well as a picture of the recipe from the book in this video before we begin. When I purchased this book for us to do a read aloud with it, I actually never heard of fry bread before. So I was personally interested in this, and I was also really attracted to the cover because it just looked really cute. I was surprised at how much I learned from reading this book. The book has really beautiful sentiments, really beautiful imagery, and it really teaches you about the emotions that people have for fry bread and what that means for Native Americans and their culture, why it even came about, and why it's so loved now. And I think it's a really fitting recipe to make, especially during this time, because a lot of us are facing adversity. And this story shows you that even through adversity, you can create really beautiful, comforting things. And so I hope that this recipe is that to you, and at least a fun experiment or a fun activity. I've never made fry bread before, so this is going to be a journey for me as much as it might be for you, and I'm really excited to try and make this. As far as ingredients, there are two ingredients that might be a little specialty that you may not have on hand with you, and that is cornmeal and yeast. The recipe also calls for coconut oil, but if you don't have it on hand, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Sometimes coconut oil gives a flavor, but as far as oils that you have in the house, anything you have will probably work for this as long as it's just mildly flavored. The only other difference in the recipe today is that the recipe calls for raw sugar or plain sugar. I don't have either, so I will be using the brown sugar that I have left. And the beauty of it is that I think that totally fits into what fry bread stands for. Making do with what you have. So let's get started. So to start, the first thing you want to do is put your water to boil. You're going to measure out your 1 pint of water. 1 pint is 2 cups of water. So 2 cups of water in your pot, put it on high, let it boil. And while that's boiling, we're going to measure out everything else so that we're ready to go. If you want to do that before you start boiling water, just so it's a little less crazy, it might be more time consuming to measure things. Of course, do that. Do that in any order that it makes sense to you. So I have my large bowl, and in this bowl, right now, I'm just going to be adding my sugar, my yeast, and my salt. Give that a little mix with your whisk, and there you have it. So again, mine looks so dark because I'm using brown sugar, but it's really just going to be sugar, and you'll see the little flakes of yeast in there. Once our pot of water starts to boil, we're going to be adding our cornmeal and our cold water. All right, so now that our water is boiling, I'm going to add in my cornmeal, and I'm going to slowly whisk it, making sure it absorbs all of that water. So I switched to a mixing spatula because I cut my mixture in half, so it was actually quite hard for me to whisk. I also added a tiny bit more water because I may have measured it wrong, but it was a little bit dry. The directions say to whisk it until it's smooth. So I'm just making sure that there's no lumps in it or anything like that. Then, once it's nice and smooth, you can add your cold water. Now, you'll reduce your heat to medium. So mine's just about there. I reduced it a little early. And you're gonna mix it until it's smooth again. So now that you can see it's starting to smooth out, it's not that lumpy. I'm gonna stir it a little bit longer just to make sure I really get all those lumps out, but you want it to be smooth. Now that we have it at a pretty smooth consistency, you don't see any large lumps or bumps in there. It's gonna be a little bumpy just because cornmeal has texture to it. But for the most part, there's no large bumps that need to be broken up that could turn really gummy or anything like that. So it looks pretty good. I'm gonna turn off the heat and I'm gonna transfer this to a plate so that it can cool off pretty quickly. So now I'm gonna let this cool and I'm gonna clean my dishes. All right, so I have my cooled cornmeal mixture, which is cool to the touch, okay? And I'm going to add it to my sugar, yeast, and salt mixture. The instructions in the book also say to have some extra water so that you can sprinkle in water with the mixture to help loosen it a little bit so everything can mix well together. So I'm going to drop in my cornmeal. I'm going to break it up and try and mix everything together as best as I can before I add in the water so that I can really properly gauge how much water I need, because you can always put in more, but you can never take it out. And I'm just scraping this, I'm pushing everything up the side of the bowl and I'm scraping it together. So everything's starting to come together. So to help me along, I'm just gonna add in a few little trickles. And I'm gonna keep going. Okay, so I think this is as good as it might get. I'm gonna go for maybe another minute or two just to make sure that I get out all those little lumps, or at least the really big ones. The recipe doesn't specify that it has to be completely smooth. It just suggests using a whisk or a masher to get the big lumps out. So I'm gonna do this for maybe one more minute and then we're gonna add our flour. Now we can add in the flour. So it's gonna be the same process. We're gonna gradually add in the flour and we're gonna mix it to make sure that there aren't any lumps getting in there. So I'm gonna sprinkle in just a little bit of it. And we're gonna mix. If your mixture starts getting dry like mine is, you can sprinkle in a little bit more water to keep it moist, but it still has to be thick. So you don't want it to be able to be watery or thin or spread out. So I'm just gonna add a few drops and we're gonna keep going. Remember, with water, it's best to be conservative at first because you can always add more. You can't take water out. So at this point, I'm still adding water because the recipe says that the dough at the end of this should still be a little bit sticky. And we're gonna use 2 spoons to form little balls and drop them in the oil when we fry them. But again, just be careful with how much water you're doing, and we don't want this to be sopping wet. It should just be sticky to the touch instead of dry to the touch like it is right now. Okay, so this is pretty good. We're gonna leave it to sit for 3 hours. It's sticky to the touch, but it's not running all over the place. It still holds its form. And you're gonna cover it with a damp towel that I'm gonna wet with water, wring out, and place on top of this. And you can leave it on top of your stove, as long as you're not cooking, leave it in a semi-warm place. And you'll notice that because of the yeast, it's going to rise. So the yeast is going to eat all of the sugars, or most of the sugars in there, and it's going to release gas as it eats, and that forces the bread to elevate. So I have a damp dishcloth that I'm gonna put over the bowl. You want to make sure that it's not touching the dough inside because we don't want to press down on the dough, add more moisture to it so that it thins out. We want to give it enough space to actually expand. So, see you in 3 hours. And we're back. Movie magic. So, my dough's been resting for about 3 hours. Let's take a look at it. Excellent. So it's visibly risen. It was a much smaller dough before. When you touch it, it's still sticky to the touch, which is good. That means it hasn't dried out. And there's a lot of air in it right now. So now that we have our risen dough, we're going to warm up some oil on the stove top that we're gonna fry this in. You're also going to need 2 spoons. So let's move to the stove. Now I have my oil heating up. I have it about medium-high on the stove. I'm gonna dip 2 spoons inside to lubricate the spoons with the oil. And this is because we're using these spoons to gather up our dough. So you're gonna take your dough and you're gently gonna lift up and scooping a little dollop. And you'll be able to transfer it to one spoon to another without it really sticking that much. And each time you drop in your dollop of dough, you can re-lubricate your spoon. If you're concerned about using the hot oil, you can also have a small container or cup that's off to the side, and you can dip your spoons in that. You want to make sure you do a test piece first before just dropping dough in, before you know how fast it takes to cook, or maybe your oil's not hot enough. So you always want to have a piece that you can test out before you start frying. So we're going to wait a few more minutes for this to warm up. While we're waiting, let's continue to set up. You're going to need a plate with some paper towels that you can put your fry bread onto once you take it out of the oil, and that paper towels will soak up the oil for you. So it's been about 2 or 3 minutes, so I'm going to test out the oil. So So it's bubbling up just a little bit. I'm gonna wait just a few more seconds, maybe 30 more seconds to another minute, until I put in a full-sized dollop. All right, so I'm gonna start putting these in one by one. Try not to overcrowd your pan. These will expand. Now that this is in the pan, you're gonna fry this until it reaches your desired color. To have a golden medium brown, it's gonna take about 3 minutes. So after a minute and a half, make sure you use some tongs and gently try and lift them off the pan and turn them over. You wanna make sure that they have that even coloring all around. With this first batch, you can also decide whether or not you want to go up or down in your size. So these 3 might be a little bit too big, but this guy might be the perfect size and closer to what I envisioned. Once they're done frying, transfer them to your paper towel lined plate. And between each layer, you want to add some more paper towels that can collect that extra oil. So the next batch is going to look a little bit closer to this guy, where they're a little bit smaller. So that wasn't too bad. They're nice and piping hot right now, but the recipe in the book tells us to enjoy them while they're hot, or at least while they're warm. They have a little bit of a sweet taste to them, but also the savoriness from the cornmeal, so you can really dress them up any way you want. If you wanted to go the sweet route and maybe do some jam, or even if it's a real treat for you, some powdered sugar. They kind of do taste like a zeppoli or funnel cake, or anything like that. It's fried dough, so how bad can it really be? If you wanted to do something more savory, you can certainly do this maybe with some cheese, or you can powder it with some spices and herbs, really dress it up, or you can have them plain, maybe with some butter, use it as an addition to your breakfast or just as a snack. So I hope you guys enjoyed this activity. I hope you enjoy your fry bread, and that I see you soon.